Daddy long that guy. And shout out to Red Light Crew.
Hey, you're one of 12 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
Yeah, you know what? To define that better, I think the key there is... Zero cat. I just lost my train of thought.
God, every time I hear that, it's like a beautiful piece of art that reveals a new element every time. Just to clarify on that further, like you had no chance of clarifying your earlier thought, Robert, because you didn't have an earlier thought. Real Life Podcast coming at you live. Little Brick, heart of the River Valley, a site under construction. There's a lot of people climbing around this old girl right now, putting in walls, putting in plumbings, putting in power cords. Chalmers, other things you'd know about.
Yeah.
Hive of activity. Are you impressed?
Yeah, it looks wicked over there.
Our old podcast studio has been swept away by professionals.
Goodbye.
But, you know, they say 3 more weeks. We'll be down there.
When you say by professionals, it makes me sound like I'm not a professional.
Well, fair.
Stab.
Okay, yeah. You were moonlighting.
I was moonlighting. I'm a professional contractor, but we were trying to do something
on the free. You were not being paid.
Yeah.
These jerks are down there charging us to redo our work.
Yes, because they were doing the other 3/4 of the basement.
Yes, they've re-leveled the floor.
Yes.
In this 1903.
We were not going to do that.
We were not going to do that. They've rewired it all.
Yes.
They have now got the power upgraded to the house arranged. Correct, Jay?
Yeah, I think it's booked for like 2 weeks from now.
So they're going to bring a big old cable like on Lost and plug it into the side of the building.
Yeah.
And then they're going to build us a full-on commercial kitchen in the basement, prep kitchen.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have our podcast studio. This is legit.
It is legit.
It's huge.
Is everything on schedule now?
I don't know. I'm worried more about the thing going on down the street, but we can talk about that later. But for the time being, it's suffice to say, Little Brick is a hive of activity. They have not seen this much construction since the motherfucker was built in 1903. How is everybody doing? Bag Milk, you're back. You took a week off because you're lazy? Because you're, what was it?
Yep, lazy.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Taking a break?
Yep.
Yeah. Feeling good?
Feeling good, feeling great. Happy
Yeah.
to be back.
Happy about how everything went in your stead?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, good.
What do you think about old Kenny Holland being a fucking shoe-in for the old GM position?
I mean, it was the least kind of surprising thing, I think. Looking at the
Well, it
connections
depends.
to
Like
Bob
a week
Nicholson.
ago, it is very surprising.
Well, that is true. He said he
like
wasn't interested
Friday,
in the job last week. So,
Dude, 2 weeks ago, we went through a list of 10 candidates, and Ken Holland
was he playing like a
nowhere to
reluctant
be
bride?
found.
Was he trying to play that game?
hey, man,
To get $5 million a year?
Yeah, 5 sheets will do that for
Or
you.
is he Paul Coffey, who legitimately does not want to be here, but they're throwing so much money at Paul Coffey that Paul Coffey's here?
Right now, I just don't know what I think about it. I thought maybe they would go with a new kind of new blood guide that's open to analytics and all kinds of fun stuff. Tomorrow morning on The Nation, I'll have an interview going on with Nick Sagan, who's an editor at Wings Nation. That's in the network.
Dear, I'm scared what he has to say.
And actually, you know what? He says plenty of positives. In there.
Excellent.
So I asked him some hard questions. Just tell us like it is. And then I asked him, why should we be excited about it? So tomorrow morning, that'll go up. At
Now, let me just step in and ask a few questions here.
Yes, sir.
I don't think you realize you're in a position of power. What you're doing is asking the guy in Detroit who works for you if the GM they just shipped here to work for us is good.
He was no, he wasn't.
This is your classic case of I don't want to tell Big Boss Bag Milk any bad news. It's
No,
a
no,
great
no, no.
idea.
That's right.
I told him to tell me like it is. I didn't want him to sugarcoat anything. But I put a question in there. Why should Oilers fans be excited about Ken Holland? And he had a good answer. So
Tune in.
yeah.
Don't give it away for free.
is that a tease?
Little teaser.
Oh,
Can't give that shit away for
I was on
free,
the edge of my
Charles.
seat there. I was like, why? Why? Because I need one right now.
Yeah, touche. I've got pros and cons to this, and I said yesterday on Twitter, I'm going to be very positive about this.
We have to.
because exactly we have to until they lose.
I don't have to.
No, you do you, buddy.
I do?
I
No,
said
wait.
you do you.
Said, yeah, I can do me, but you said I
think
have
you
to.
should be positive.
What
We're
I would
Oilers
say-
Nation,
Look,
son.
man, I
We gotta
always
be
hope for the-
positive.
No,
Okay,
this
man.
is Smig. This is what we
I
want.
always-
We need him to challenge us so we can
that's
yell at
fair.
each other, and
That's
it's
fair.
good.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm curious though to get your negatives out of the way. Let's just get them out of the way.
Negatives out of the way. It just, once again, optics. Another Hockey Connection, our Hockey Canada connection wasn't interviewed. There's just a lot of the same story. So you can take a lot of stock in that, or you can't. But I'm allowing it to get on my cons list. So to me, it looks like a lazy hire. It's just once again, Bob is a guy he worked with. He went and got approval from Mr. Cates to get tons of money and just threw it, even so much to probably even leak the contract details as has been reported, to try to convince him and sway him to come here without even going through any kind of due diligence.
And do you think that he thought that the name recognition of Ken Holland would be like, oh, these fans are going to love it. This guy's tried and true. He's an old time, like, successful GM, because it did not work.
Well, ultimately, I don't trust the guy making the decision on who we hire anyways right now. So that's my cons. I do have pros.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of pros.
And I'm going to fucking drink the Kool-Aid on these pros. Just like I'm enjoying this fine sessional ale I'm getting from Little Brick Cafe and General Store.
Great.
In the heart of Edmonton's River Valley.
General Store coming in 2023.
So can I give my take on this then? Because I
start with cons first.
Wait.
Let's
You got
get
a
them
whole
out of the
page. Wait. You're going to be your batting cleanup here for a hockey analogy. Let me do my things.
Batting clean.
And then you do your things, because you have all those words. And then I have this drawing of a dinosaur eating a 747.
It's a good drawing.
Here is what is good about Ken Holland in my mind. Positive first. I was the last guy off the Chiarelli bandwagon. I will, whatever the Oilers do, that is the move. I'm not here to fucking second guess every decision being made. If you're going to hire a new GM, this guy has to last 5 years.
Oh, without a doubt.
We need continuity. Having Chiarelli come in, and was he dismissed in year 3?
Yeah.
That's a mistake.
Yep.
Now, he was doing such a poor job by the end, he had to go.
Mm-hmm.
But the revolving...
The argument is he should have been dismissed sooner. That's the mistake.
He shouldn't have never been hired.
Well, that's the ultimate.
You can't hire and fire a GM in 1 year. You can't. The revolving door of coaches the Oilers have had...
Well, and they made the playoffs in that first year, so tough to do anyway.
Second year.
Sorry.
You can't... The revolving door of coaches that they've had here has made the problems in the program worse, because every year you got a new system, or every second year you got a new system. When you have a team that isn't winning, that's full of young kids, and they're getting all these fucking systems, they need continuity. So last guy off the Chiarelli bandwagon, fine. He's a fuckstick now looking back, but I think that Ken Holland, although old, isn't old. He's not Pat Quinn old. Pat Quinn, hey man, Pat Quinn's an amazing coach. But we got Pat Quinn a little bit long in the tooth. And so it's not fair to hold Pat Quinn, Oilers coach, to the standard of Pat Quinn, Hockey Hall of Fame coach, because we got him late in the game, right? Yep. I don't think Ken Holland's that old.
I don't think so. Age is not a concern to me.
Age ain't nothing but a number. R. Kelly featuring Aaliyah.
How old is he?
Nope.
63.
Okay.
I feel ultimately this was a hire to ultimately have him go be a POHO and then bring a GM up from some kind of...
be a GM in the short term, then yeah.
I believe in a position that is getting younger. For us to go with a 63-year-old I'm sorry.
Hey, you got a whole thing there.
I can't help it. Fine. I just feel like I got to jump in with the old thing and yell at it. But I'll pinpoint them all later.
You'll get the ball, Shaq.
One thing I want to talk about is the old thing too. Is a little teaser for tomorrow's article with Nick is
for God's sakes.
His reluctance to use analytics is a problem for me.
I think yes, those are in the negatives. I'm in the positives.
Okay, good.
But we were starting with the negatives though.
Well, not me. You were starting with the negatives.
No, because Bag Milk told me to.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, but did you do your positives?
No, I've done my positives.
Oh,
so we'll go your positives and then fire back here.
I got it. It's very complicated. It's hard to hire a new GM, as we're seeing right here. It's very hard. I think that Ken Holland did a very good job for a long time. And then towards the end of his tenure, he got some bad contracts. They're quote unquote in cap hell. They gave something named Justin Abdul-Kader too much money. Fine. His body of work, he made the playoffs 15 times.
18 times in a row.
18 times in a row. That's not by mistake.
Nope.
I would settle for one time in a row. All right, Jay, positives?
Positives. He had the tremendous opportunity of working under probably one of the best sports team owners of all time, Mr. Illich, Mr. I. Was part of an organization that instilled a tremendous culture, and a culture of winning.
So what you're saying, you're saying Ken Holland, what is the culture of the Edmonton Oilers? You expect that he'll have an answer?
Yeah,
I would actually think, or if he might not know what the Oilers' current culture is, but he'll know he'll build. I truly believe he will build a proper culture, because it has to come. It starts at that level. Yes. Fortunately, it probably starts even a few levels higher, but hopefully this autonomy
You
wall
won't
that's
go
being
oopsie doopsie, Daryl Katz. Oopsie doops, my earlier thought.
So
Daryl
if
Katz.
this is truly the Ken Holland show, he has been a part of a winning culture and instilled and helped create this winning culture. So I think that's a tremendous positive.
What was the name of that Detroit Red Wings captain that you played with who told that story about Nick Lidstrom? Remember you played with the guy in the Alzheimer's tournament who was the former captain of the Red Wings for a very brief window? And he was in the 80s. He was telling the story about he was walking in the basement of Joe Louis Arena.
Oh, yeah.
And Nick Lidstrom was walking towards
Yep.
him. What was that guy's name?
Polonich.
And Nick Lidstrom knew who he was.
Yeah, and called him like Mr. Polonich.
Thank you for everything you've done for this city.
Yeah.
And thank you for blah, 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 blah. That is a culture that is set in motion by Illich and Ken Holland for 22 years.
So, yeah. So if Ken comes in, because we've got so obviously he can't fire above, but he can fire below. And I hope there's some targets within the organization that aren't players that we could get rid of that could be deemed cancerous to culture.
Players?
No, not players. Personnel. People.
Who?
Well, I can't name names.
Why?
but
Why not?
We just
How about firing?
Yeah.
Take the hatchet out.
No, there's people. There's people in the
Mac
media
T?
community.
Peter
There's
Dorelli?
people in the media community.
Well, you can't fire those.
No, who know and have to deal with some of these people on a daily basis.
Oh, JJ?
Communications.
Also, there has been some poor scouting to date.
All the scouts need to go.
So those need to go. So he needs
But
to come clean
everyone's
up. But
cousins
anyways,
and brothers.
but back to positive. He's won a ton of cups. He knows what a winning culture looks like and has been involved in implementing a winning culture. And you know what? Like, now I said this about Milan Lucic, but like 5 years ago, I'm like, oh, if we could have Ken Holland as a GM, like that would be the best thing ever.
Gold standard.
So like, I can't be upset that we just hired Ken Holland.
That's fair.
If I'm looking at negatives, my list's actually very small. The last 3 years, the Red Wings have had a very high payroll. No playoffs. Problem. However, I also know that he had a lot of pressure on him to maintain that ridiculous playoff streak, get to 19 years, so he was signing his vets to whatever deals. There's that. And after spending the weekend looking around and kind of doing some research of what he's done lately when they committed to rebuild mode, once they finally committed to that, he's done a very good job
Of rebuilding the Wings.
of kind of clearing things out, bringing prospects in, letting them marinate, all the stuff that you want a GM to do.
So I remember Nicholson talking about Keith Gretzky and saying he has a Ken Holland approach to the game. Do you remember that? And he's very patient, almost like a Ken Holland. And I remember him saying that and being like, why is he referencing the Wings guy? Sort of rude. But I wonder if they're just like, why don't we get Ken Holland?
I'll call my buddy Ken, just like I called my buddy
Pete.
Pete, and I
Peter.
called my other buddy Ken, Coach Ken.
Wow. Yeah. They should have left. Now knowing that they were going to gas Peter, they should have kept Coach McClellan.
It just the Hockey Canada connection does look bad. But anyways, I'm positive.
Positive. I'm positive. I think it's fine. 5 years, he'll bring in our genius wonder kid, fucking train up Doogie Howser 2. Chalmers, get to that big page of facts you got written out.
Okay, well, I was doing some thinking because the first thing that struck me was what I've noticed is, because I don't just follow hockey, is that the general manager position is becoming younger in all sports. And it started pretty much with Theo Epstein, who was hired, straight out of Yale at the age of 28 and took the Reds. And he managed to
He was
get
hired as GM out of Yale?
Well, no, he was out. He came out of Yale.
Yeah.
He was working. He worked his
Working
way-
in the baseball program at Yale or a student at Yale?
No, he's a student at Yale. Yeah. So Ivy Leaguers are going the rate of the way of the baseball GM at this point. But anyways, he got hired and he figured out a way with, he's huge into sabermetrics, huge into analytics, and he figured out the cap system, and used the two to combine old veterans that were on the cheap with good young talent. And, he won the Red Sox their first World Series in 86 years. And, by getting Poppy and stuff like that. Anyways, then he goes and becomes the head of baseball operations for the Cubs, and wins
Is that
them.
not GM?
No, so it's like It's like one step above GM.
Oh, so he like
Yeah,
Poho or whatever.
You basically
it's
have you're same exact thing you do.
So
but
who's pulling trigger on deals though?
better
The
better park install?
in Chicago, the GM or Theo at that point?
Theo.
Even though he's not GM.
Theo's overseeing everything.
I see.
Yeah, he's overseeing everything. But and he brings them the first World Series. Anyways, it's getting like it all started with him. But what that showed, and like Billy Bean, these guys were young and they came with a different way of looking at a game that was ever changing.
Did you ever see that movie where Billy Bean started up that fight club? And everybody was fighting at Billy Bean's
You gave
house?
that joke last
He
He
week.
was
was like,
he goes Edward Norton for a bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Sold soap. It was a whole thing.
Such a weird season for the Athletics.
So you say to me that he's not old. He's 63 years old. That's pretty damn old, considering that in 1997, July 8th, David Poile was hired with the expansion club Nashville. And then 9 days later, Ken Holland got the job with Detroit, making them the two longest tenured GMs in the NHL.
David
20
Poile's
years.
still going? And
He is still going because he's obviously,
He's got some
Still
tough
there.
decisions to make, David Poile,
Yep.
this offseason.
so the
Tax troubles.
the next one after that is Doug Wilson out in San Jose. He's been there for 15 years. Anyways, so like he's been a GM for a long, long time. Yes, he had a lot of success. In 2011, I read an article the other day from 2011 that said that Ken Holland, of the top 15 GMs in sports, was number 2.
In
But it's
what
not
year?
fucking 2011. 2011.
So 8 years ago,
8 years ago. He's a number
number two of all time?
Number 2 at that moment
At that
in
time.
sports. Lou
Because
Lamoriello
they've
was
made
8.
the playoffs 11 jillion times in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, streak.
2011, we had Steve Tambellini walking up to the podium and selecting Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Yeah, good for us. And on that same list, Poile was on there too at 10. My whole point is like where I thought we were going to, we're a young team, and where I wanted us to go was to follow this trend, like the guys in Arizona, like to follow Toronto, get these young GMs that come in, the game's changing. Like, and I know for a fact that older men, when they're set in their ways, don't change. And
Now,
sure,
just
it worked
a
at one
second.
point.
Christopher Keith.
What?
That can't be true. Old white men are as adaptable as any other. Nope. You're right. Go on.
No, and it's just it was we had a list 2 weeks ago where we all picked a guy, and there was 10 guys on there, and 4 of them kind of wanted to use analytics as kind of the backbone of building a team and really understanding the cap.
You want to hear what scares me, Chalmers?
What?
Is that they brought in Ken Holland to finish training Keith Gretzky. And then
Does
they're
Keith-
like,
does Keith
5 years from now, 2024, when we're like, bah, there's 2 years left in Connor's contract. Bah!
Does Keith
They're like,
Gretzky
now Keith
care
Gretzky.
about analytics? Is he big into it? Do we know that yet?
He mentioned the need for analytics in that weird.
And what
So
did
that
you-
means
and-
he doesn't know about
Yeah,
analytics.
and before the
He just knows we
podcast,
need it.
you told us that Ken Holland was not interested in analytics whatsoever.
Yeah, he's known to depend on the eye test. He is not a big analytics guy. So my hope would be that he can kind of learn something, change a little bit. Because why wouldn't you want all the tools you can possibly have at your disposal?
And there's our problem. We're hoping that a 63-year-old man who's been doing this, the second longest tenure in the NHL as a GM, is going to change his ways for us.
Are
We
you
need him to
That's what
suggesting?
we're
change his
hoping.
ways, though? I don't know that we need him to change his ways. We just need him to continue to do the job he did
The
in
whole
Detroit here.
it's
I think. Well,
can
Yes.
that work in this environment, in this culture of hockey, the way that hockey's changing. Look at how many fights there is. Look at the way that the game's being like it's changing. The skill levels, the way that things go. The teams that stay ahead of curves like this are the ones that win championships. And when we don't even look like we give a shit about trying to stay ahead of it, that we actually kind of want to stay status quo or even, lag behind, that's fucking depressing. Dude, am I the only one that thinks this?
no,
No.
I agree with you.
I was talking to a dude the other day. 1 minute, says Jared. Or possibly he's indicating that he's number one. Number one.
No, that was a number 1 take by
number
Chalmers.
one take by Chris.
There will be nothing on Twitter that will say otherwise.
Number one, Christopher.
By the way, do you like that? Like I've been
No.
watching it all week.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so it was funny. It started out funny
Uh-oh.
because of
No, wait. So what started out funny?
the stuff on Twitter.
What
I
stuff
asked
on
for.
Twitter?
So
'Cause you were taking
Chalmers
some
goes to
shit.
Mark and
Yeah.
says, I want to get
Make
turf.
fun of me, internet.
No, see, I loved the beginning. It was fun. And because like the photoshops were hilarious. I loved them. Like and I responded and it was it was cool. But man, like to do that all the time, like every day,
You mean work at the Nation?
I'm just bad. I could not do it. I could not do this.
Egg Milk, how many people do you go back and forth with in a day? Hundreds?
Like I still think of, it's been a while since I got one, admittedly, but people emailing me that they want to beat the shit out of me and stuff. It's just kind of part of the thing.
Yeah. So the people I got, they were fun. Like they were fun. They were
Super nice.
Super nice, man.
Super nice.
It was like you could tell that they weren't being like jerks about it. That they were coming at it from like a fun, and I liked that, and I wanted to have it, but I realized that it was like, for one thing, I'm not great with Twitter. I get like all these mentions and stuff, and I don't. And then people mention or people like they go in the thread, and I look at that, and I don't realize that it's a big long thread. I think it's just like one message, right? Yeah. And then I try to find like the original message so I could get the whole thread. I mean, it's just confusing.
You just go up with your thumb, but we'll show you.
Old man talks about old man taking over others.
And do I look like I'm in the running for the CEO at Twitter? No, I'm not.
But you are after a very exhaustive search of talking to nobody and going to our friend, our co-host on the podcast. Oh my God, I see how the world works. I see. Let's take a break. Real life podcast back after this.
Have you got holes to dig, earth to pack, and roads to build? Then you need to call Japa Machinery Group. Does your equipment need a service? You can't fix stupid, but here at Japa Machinery Group, we can fix everything else. With a full range of parts to keep your equipment running smoothly. Japa Machinery Group is a family-operated and Alberta-grown business. Here to help build a bigger and better Western Canada. Give us a call or visit us at japamachinery.com. Japa Machinery Group. Join the family.
Still disappointed Josh didn't come on the show.
I know. Yeah.
I asked him, I was like, why didn't you come? He's like, I don't know. I'm busy,
kind of a miss.
mate.
I think we had to stay persistent on him. They had a pretty compressed schedule.
He was too busy having all of his patties.
Patties. Loves his patties.
Patty?
Playing Finskit as patties.
Well, 8 days is like a very quick trip from Australia.
I tried to get him to do a shoey.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what a shoey?
Drink a drink out of a
Australia-
shoe.
Yeah.
Crush a beer out of a shoe.
Yeah, those Mad Hueys do that a lot.
It works really well in a bowling shoe.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I was trying to do it out of
the
a
more
sandal.
public use, the better.
Communal clog.
Yeah.
I feel like a sandal's the right way to go about it because nothing really, ferments in a
What
sandal.
kind of sandal do you run that you can actually
A
pour
sandal
beer
that you
into?
can bend, and then it's like an ice luge, but it's a sandal luge.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like a flip-flop.
Oh, okay. You can't carry it though.
Not
You're
like a
having Yanas.
Birkenstock there,
Wow.
Kerr.
Maybe a
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
clog.
Yeah, like one of those, Birkenstocks. You gotta
The
be able to.
enclosed clog.
Yeah, you close it like a taco, and then you dump this beer down it. I mean, this isn't that hard, you guys.
Come on.
Jesus.
Yeah. Have you ever even gotten drunk?
Yeah, act like you've been had a beer
Cowboy
before.
boot would be my choice to smash booze out of.
No wonder
as a
he was
kid.
hyping
I
up
bet
that
you can
beer as his first one.
hold a lot of
3-4 beers in there at least.
Can hold a lot
In
of
what,
liquor.
like a
to come.
clog?
Cowboy boot.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
in beer. In what's that? Beer Fest.
Beer
Oh,
Fest.
what? Beer Fest.
But
yeah.
that's a glass boot.
That's Das Boot. Yeah, Das
Yeah,
Boot.
but it would. So a glass boot and a cowboy boot are different.
They're
dimensions?
not the same.
No.
I bet you'd still have to do the turn.
I would
You
say
still have
there's
to do the
more
turn.
volume in an actual cowboy boot because the actual
The
foot,
calf is so high too.
the foot component is much bigger than a boot, than a glass boot.
Now look who's
I mean,
talking
that's-
shit.
That's
We
fantastic.
do miss Josh. That's the long and the short of that. The next topic on my little page here, Chalmers, which is a
Dinosaur.
napkin that I found on the ground with a recipe for scones in Little Brick, and I added a couple points to it. Poisonous fans. Bag Milk, do you want to start us off?
Gord Miller.
Very
on-
weak chin.
Oh, bold.
Shots fired.
Might want to grow a goatee. Fill that thing out.
Like Little John. He's got a very weak chin. He grew a goatee. He's got a fucking Pepsi ad. Anyways, go
looks
ahead.
great. Yesterday, Gordon Miller on Twitter kind of kicked a hornet's nest with Oilers fans when he tweeted, "When the Oilers circled back with an offer this week, Ken Holland called friends in the game to get their thoughts. One of them warned him about the poisonous atmosphere around the team. You'll get killed on social media," he warned. "I'm not on social media," Holland replied.
If you offered someone a job, Jay, for 25 million US, I assume,
Yeah.
over 5 years,
Yeah.
and they couldn't handle getting told off on social media, do they deserve to be your GM?
No.
So any of Ken Holland's friends that go, I don't know, Ken, 25 million's a lot of money, but people on Tumblr will post comments about you. Fuck you.
We're-
weak friends of Ken Holland.
Where my beef is using the term poisonous and directing it at the wrong place.
Well, they said
That's what I said
and it
yesterday.
wasn't the fans. They said the atmosphere around the team.
yeah, but
That includes the OEG boys.
Yeah, that
He's
that-
walking a
but
fine
that
line of
means-
calling it everything.
That means fans. Fans aren't poisonous. Fans have had to be a witness to this absolute bullshit for the last 13 years. Poisonous is the organization.
I disagree. I think that what he means by poisonous is he's making it very clear to be super vague and say that it's poisonous around the organization. And what he means is like
No, I'm saying what it should be. What
it.
poisonous actually means. It's not because that all-encompassing vague lingo he uses there implies fans.
That's how I took it.
It implies fans 1,000%. Where it needs to be directed at, because it's not the fans. We're entitled to be rattled. It's not fucking poisonous. These guys keep giving us softballs of shit that we can just hit out of the park with, and it's perceived as negativity, but it's actual fact, and it's just real reaction. The poison is in the organization.
Yes, I agree.
Ken
but
Holland has to go with the anti-venom and get it all fucking out of there.
Well, what I said is he can make friends real fast if he comes in here and cleans house.
Oh, yeah.
Real fast.
The city of Edmonton has kind of, garnered this
base
this
just
reputation.
kicked in.
This reputation.
The beat's about
because,
to drop.
like when we're being if we're being poisonous right now, if that's what he means and that's what he says is poisonous air, then
Well, the water,
and it's
for sure, is
and
poison.
it's finally
Absolutely.
warranted. The fact is it always seems like there's an air of poisonous, effects around this team. And that means
No,
even
there
when it's
wasn't.
good-
There was
What
been
I
a
would say-
long time of no poison.
What about in the playoff
What?
year? There was no poisonous.
There was
vibes
no
around it.
poison.
This city was all in on the Oilers.
You go
When-
Very
06
just hold on.
back, 07 back. There's been even like when we were Johnny Lunch Bucket, there was no poison around the Oilers.
Hold on. Like in the late 90s?
Yeah. There was no financial support for the Oilers.
We're small
But-
market bitches, and every time David Oliver scores 10 goals, we're going to lose him for 50 grand to the Rangers.
That was it. That wasn't poison.
No, man.
We were just small town
I'm
like
sick
kids.
and fucking tired
I feel
of
like-
fans being dragged under the bus
Yeah,
by people involved in this
we're
team.
not the fucking
you
problem.
motherfuckers, where do you think your enormous paychecks clear? Well, granted, mostly from Kate's. But having said that, the fact anyone's even paying attention right now.
Well, and to further that point, the fact that the organization is so combative with their fan base is mind blowing to me. It's like in times like this where and I know Gord Miller's not involved with the organization, but to suggest
But he was on CBC Edmonton Sports. He's got a connection.
He's got his start here.
To
The
suggest or
fucking
imply
Chin
that-
Academy.
anything to do with the fans are poisonous. We deserve more than one playoff appearance per decade.
When all you need to know about the OEG's commitment to the fans of the Oilers was when the poll of NHL players put the Oilers as 30th at the time of the worst cities in the league. And not a single person associated with the Oilers came out and said that's not true.
Okay, so because I honestly don't know and I can't remember this because I don't try to, you're saying that since 06. So, because when I used to listen to like some radio shows in Edmonton,
If you listen, okay,
there
go on.
would be people. I would have to roll my eyes almost every time a caller called in.
What if I suggested to you that people who called into to radio shows to talk about teams are always going to be of the same archetype?
Yes. So then saying that
But that's
saying
every
that's a
fan,
poisonous.
every sport,
I thought
all
that-
around the world.
Right.
Yeah.
I
So
thought that was
obviously-
going in a different direction.
So, yeah,
than people
so did
that
I.
call
But
into
seriously,
social,
I agree with
radio
you.
shows.
There's going to
They're
be
always
that
going to
small
complain.
faction.
But they're always going to complain.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
So yes, Gord Miller. He shouldn't. I don't think he's making the whole thing seem poisonous. But even if there's that little tiny faction of people that are poisonous, it's still poisonous.
I'll tell you one thing.
If a spider is a little bit poisonous,
but
it's still
paint the right
poisonous.
things poison. The fans aren't poison.
Oh man, they're not. There's a lot of pissed off
Not
people.
all
This is-
fans. We get
whatever
that. We get
whatever's
that.
being viewed as poisonous is we are fucking entitled to be as upset as we are.
So I was looking through my brother-in-law's renewal package that he just got with the Oilers, and I'm looking through the price list of all the seats and around the arena, and it's a huge investment for those people to pay that kind of money to do 42 games a year plus preseason or whatever.
Yes.
And what they slipped in was a flag, a nice little flag, and they say, "Hey, why don't you renew for another year?" And all I could think of was they should be so much more grateful that these people have invested the kind of money that they work. They could go on vacations, they could upgrade the house, they could anything. That building is full and has been full for a long time despite the lack of results. And to say, even suggest that the people that watch and pay their money are in any way poisonous is just crazy to me. It's crazy. If you look at the 2016-17 playoff run, nobody said anything about a poisonous environment around the Oilers. This city was all in. You went to the playoff games. We were all at the bar at we would clear the office at what, 2:00? We're down at the bar. The place is packed. Everybody's excited. Everybody's got jerseys. Everybody's got car flags.
I think Oilers Nation has done a really good job since 11 years ago of not being all that negative. I think we've done a very good job.
I'm super confused. You're kind of saying that we
What
have
the
all
fuck?
the reasons in the world to be poisonous right now.
But
No,
we're not.
We're not poison. Stop calling the fans poisonous.
No, I'm just simply using the word that he used. Okay, fine. You saying that the fans
I'm
right
saying
now,
it's being misdirected. They're viewing the Edmonton as being poisonous and including the fans in it. We're not poisonous. We're just really fucking upset. And it's because rightfully so. Imagine getting kicked in the dick for 12 straight years.
I can imagine.
Does that feel good? Do you not have a right to be mad and stand up?
yeah.
got a
So
thick blister that's
if I'm
developed.
mad, because
Like,
I've been kicked in the dick for 12 straight years, and I stand up and I get mad about it, and somebody tells me that I'm mad, are they wrong?
Yeah,
Poisonous
so
and
it's
mad
all
are
right,
different,
but you're
though.
not poisonous. You're totally entitled
Oh my
to be
god!
mad.
So we're using like the actual.
No,
we're
I
taking
know,
the
but it's
small
saying
definition of a word.
No, but we're saying the poisonous term, it should be only applied to the organization. They're saying a poisonous environment. That loops in the fans. The fans aren't the fucking problem. They aren't the poison. It's the organization and all the moves to date and all the bullshit they keep feeding us that's created this atmosphere. So we're entitled to be
So
this
Gordy
mad.
Miller just made a mistake by using the wrong adjective to
I think people
No, I
like
think
to
he's
shit
reporting.
on Edmonton.
Yes, everyone is shitting on
I
Edmonton.
think our
an easy target.
reputation, our
It's been known
reputation
to
in
be
the
a hard
league.
place to play for years. I don't understand why you guys all of a sudden think that we don't deserve some of this reputation as being a hard place to play.
Well, because
we've
we've been
talked
sold
about
a
this
bill of
before.
goods, though.
I understand we have a reason to be, but the fact that we are, it doesn't we have a reason to be upset. Yes, we do. Because we've been sold a bill of goods. You could say it. It's why I haven't enjoyed hockey here for a long, long time.
Except the
But
Oil
then all of a
Kings.
sudden, except for the Oil
We
Kings.
love the Oil Kings.
Yes.
the Oil
So then
Kings.
when somebody said and so people spout off and they say stuff on social media and they go and we run players out of town. We have
It's also
done
worth
it.
noting that
So then when
social
we do
media
it-
has risen entirely during this Oilers fruitless run. So like the whole arc of Twitter and Facebook and everything like that is basically since 2007. So when everybody else grew up in the social media era of like, I use Twitter to yell at Bieber, Oilers fans are like, we use Twitter to talk about the Oilers, and the Oilers aren't doing well. So I think it amplifies the problem because there aren't a lot of positive Oilers fans in social
Yes.
media because there hasn't.
So
been.
my point is we have the right to be upset. Then we get upset. But when somebody says it's a hard place to play or calls it poisonous, when they use one simple word to say poisonous, whatever you guys think that means, what I think it means to me is that it's a hard place to work because of the environment around the team. All of a sudden when we get called that, it's like, whoa. You can't say that about us. We're allowed to be like this. Like, what? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Like,
I'm starting to.
I get what you're saying, but it's still not accurate. Like
Okay.
it's
in your mind, you want to be mad and you want but
the reason why
Can
it's
we
tough
find
to
a way
play
to
and
be
there's a
mad
lot
and
of
still make
chatter
it-
is because all the bullshit that's happened in this amount of time. If the Oilers would have made the playoffs 4 times in the last 13 years, it wouldn't be as poisonous as Gord Miller thinks it is, right?
I think the differentiation is Chalmers is saying we have a right to be pissed off, and you're saying that doesn't make you poisonous. And Chalmers is saying it is poisonous,
But it is poisonous.
but it's
'cause
justified poisonous.
But it is justified.
Whereas
And
you're saying
it's like
it's
own
not.
it.
But
Just
the-
own
I
it.
don't
no,
think
no,
it's-
I know, but it's on. But like poison to me, poisonous. Yeah, if they said Edmonton's a tough place to
He's
play,
just caught up on the word poisonous.
Well, it is because it's pretty aggressive.
It is, man. That's why I hate
Chalmers,
Gord Miller.
if someone said you're a cancer, how would you feel about that?
I mean, it depends. I've been to cancer before in a lot of places.
But if
There have been times.
but
I know what you're saying.
right?
Yes.
So like, but to use such a fucking word like poisonous,
yes,
that's a shot on Edmonton and Edmontonians.
And here's the
looping
real
us into that.
Here's the realistic reputation of Oilers fans. We are idiots. And no matter how shitty the team gets, we still all show up like idiots and cheer. And there are a lot of hardcore fans of other teams that look down their noses at us because the narrative it is everybody in Edmonton is drunk and dumb. And they had Taylor Hall and Jordan Eberle who were out there lighting the town on fire, and there's no accountability, and everyone up here is a moron. And if the Oilers were playing before a half-filled building, that would make more sense. But because Oilers fans are willing to be gluttons for punishment, we're goofs. That's one narrative. Then there's the other narrative that the media takes, both inside Edmonton, mystifyingly, and nationally, that is that Oilers fans are part of the problem. And it's fucking bullshit.
I think back to when on Oilers Nation Radio, we interviewed George LaRocque. We asked about fans in Edmonton and if we're too harsh. And he said, in my opinion, based on the results, Oilers fans should be more harsh because they're entitled to. He says, if you think this is bad, play in Montreal.
I couldn't skate backwards, but I get what you're saying.
Play in Toronto. Or if you're a Yankees guy, play for the Yankees. This isn't just an Oilers thing, yet we have gotten more shit 12 out of 13 years. You're watching from the sidelines. I'm hanging out with my buddies, watching the playoffs, being like, man, I wish I was drunk today for a fun reason instead of watching Colorado and San Jose.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just think that Oilers fans, like you said, Chalmers, have a right to be angry. I don't think that's poisonous. I think that is a reaction to nothing changing. It's the same management group they've had for 13 years. Nothing's changed. They've gone through a million coaches. They've gone through a handful of GMs.
They've thrown players under the bus.
What they've sat in press conferences and said there's a difference between tier 1 and tier 2 fans. And we're all just like, what the fuck? Well, I'll buy tickets to the game still.
I'll get a garbage can.
It's back to the kick in the dick now. It's just repeatedly kicked in the dick.
They should be so grateful for the passion that Oilers fans still have, because I'm telling you, if this exact same thing was going on in Carolina, they don't even have a team anymore.
But here's the reason why they're not grateful, because the people who are in charge came into the league all together as kids, started to over-deliver at a ridiculous rate, and were of the opinion that Oilers fans owe them. Because look at the wonderful, wonderful product they put on the ice from 1980 to 1990. So that it's like a slum landlord. Slum landlords almost entirely hate their tenants because they think that they're doing them a favor by renting them shit. I was reading this thing, the whole thing here, but they're always treat them like they treat their tenants with contempt. They're like, I do not care that my wall is broken. Fuck you. And I think that the Oilers OEG have a mentality of a slum landlord. Like, the house is in disarray. The arena itself is very beautiful, but how dare you call us into question? How dare you call me up and tell me that your toilet's backed up? How dare you get mad because the window's broken and the fucking winter comes flying in?
Not understanding that if they fix that house up, they'd get better tenants.
If the Oilers were 15th in winning percentage since 2007, the midpoint of the league, the atmosphere around this team would be entirely different. If they were just middle of the road successful. But they're like a standard deviation below shitty. And at no point has anyone ever come out and been held 1 degree accountable for this. Nobody. And so for all the hardworking people, we've talked about this at great length, but there's a reason. Read the Brad Sapenko quote.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah. So on Twitter this morning, this was one of my fun ones today where
Shout out his account.
Couldn't figure out. Yeah, I will.
Yeah, good man.
But I couldn't figure out how it all went into, so I didn't comment on it anybody. But our buddy Brad Stepanko, who is at Spank_Yeg on Twitter, he wrote, should be an interesting nation real life today. With Ken Holland getting hired and the media calling fans poisonous, fans have every right to be angry at the OEG group that has been horrible for the last 20 years. The lies that the OEG has been feeding would make anyone sick. They stated on the Jason Greger show that there would be no increase on prices on food and beer. Then the weekend at the concert, the beer prices go up. It's hard to buy into the Kool-Aid when they keep raising the prices. To which our boy Jason Greger replied, which media person called Oilers fans poisonous?
That's true. Gord Miller just said that Ken Holland circle said it, but
yes.
Chin.
Please
Yeah,
show
that's
me who did. Are you referring to the Gord Miller tweet? It said a hockey person said that, which either way is idiotic. Oilers losing wasn't due to Oilers or to online outrage.
Thank God Gregor was there to sound reasonable.
Gregor's so good too. Like we were talking about engaging with your audience. Nobody does it better.
Yeah, he is really good at it.
Gregor does it very well.
Yeah. So I did like that. Like, I mean, I obviously was, I read that before and I saw the Gord Miller tweet like 2 days ago. And then I saw this. And because, I mean, guys, just be more like me, man. Just read it and go, huh, cool. And
you
then put your
stupid,
phone
we're
down.
Oilers Nation, man. If we did that shit, we are
Okay.
we are engaged.
So then tweet
It's our
something
civic
out, but
duty to
please.
defend here.
we are the ringleading this shit.
As long as people are getting fired up, but not actually getting fired up. Like if you're walking into your house and your kids are like, "Hey, Dad, how you doing?" And you're like, "God damn it, we hired Ken Holland," and then you yell at them. That's just bad news. Don't do that. You let your fingers do the talking.
I don't know, man. I don't have kids I talk to. Those little fuckers can.
Well, they don't know who Ken Holland is.
Well,
anyways, what do we like? So what are we thinking?
Oh, we've yelled. I think that bringing the Oilers fans in as a part of the problem of the Oilers.
Yeah.
Wow. Don't fiddle with your mic stand, Keith Richards. We've been mad enough on this show that when they drag Oilers fans as part of the problem here, it's an extra kick to the dick after an all-you-can-eat dick kicking.
And so ultimately, I believe that at the very beginning of the show, when you three were looking for the positives right off the bat, you came in here and you wanted to immediately be positive. I understand why.
I'm positive going in
Because
every year.
I know you are.
Every year. This is the year.
You've taught yourself to be positive. You've had to. It's
And
as coping
what I'm
mechanism.
setting myself up for is for a giant dick kicking.
If I could go back,
You
would
have to
I go
walk
into
into that
every
dick
season,
kicking
though, Jay? Every single
a
season
smile.
of the Nation Network, would you still go, if you could do it again, go in positive?
Yes.
Yes. What the fuck? The minute that you go, maybe Jesse Belanger isn't the answer, then you're really screwed.
Well, and just being constantly
Eric
negative is always a bad look.
Eric Belanger, Jesse
See, but that's the thing is, I'm not negative. But when I saw this hiring, I just was like, just kind of disappointed. To be honest with you, I was hoping for that exciting change. Like when I wake up on the Monday morning and I'm like, this is going to be the week I get healthy again and I'm going to get back on the elliptical and then I make a protein shake and I get to work and then I eat McDonald's for lunch. It's disappointing.
You just
I was
wanna-
expecting
But
a lot more
delicious.
out of this.
Yeah.
And then I went and got McDonald's again, like an asshole. And so like
You're
You're an
eating your
asshole.
feelings,
I'm
Charles.
eating my feelings.
Your feelings about Ken Holland?
yeah.
I'm saying, you know what? Come on, Ken. Welcome to Edmonton.
You might suit it here. Bag
Wow.
milk, thoughts?
Just like what's going to happen with our friends at Indochino. The way it works is you head on down to Indochino. You get measured up just like Jay did this
Yeah,
morning.
I'm gonna fucking stop. I'm gonna tell you how this rolls.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna intervene. Sorry, Indochino. Hopefully, a personal testimonial.
Stop fucking
is
with your
what you're
mic stands,
after.
everybody. What the hell?
Well, I'm very fidgety. That's why we got to video record this so everyone can see me flip flopping around in my chair. As Bag Milk said about Indochino, I had the honor of going in today to get sized up, and I'll tell you about the experience because it's still fresh.
Where'd you go?
It's 2 hours old. Went to West Edmonton Mall.
Go ahead.
Me and Chris
The
and
intern.
Jared.
Not me.
Yeah, not
Nation
this
Chris.
Yeah, Nation Chris.
You're the other nation.
We went and met with two nice guys. They watched us through the whole process. So you get 14 different measurements and they're walking. So there's like, and there's going to be a video about this, but I'm proud about some of my measurements versus Chris. Biceps, 15 and a half inches. Chris is 14.
Oh, baby
It's
arms.
9
Chris.
inches smaller than Hulk.
Doesn't even, after all those push-ups, I still got him. Very proud of that. Anyways, it was an unreal experience. I actually felt like I was like on Savile Road in London getting a bespoke suit, even though it is a bespoke suit, but I felt like such a boss, such a baller getting.
Did they
like,
really
everything.
cup your inseam good and tight?
Oh,
I like a good inseam.
There was
I
so
like them
much
to double
crotch
measure.
talk going on in terms because like, is it too tight? Is it this like they actually put a lot of emphasis on the crotch, which
Yes.
I felt respected because as a guy who has blown out the ass of many pants, I felt like it was a very important subject to have. So we got a proper crotch length in here.
I just blow out crotches.
As a man who gets a lot of NRBs for no reason, Chalmers, you'll know. That.
Oh, you
I gotta have a lot of give in the front.
never know when you're
And
going to
yeah.
be riding in a bumpy car.
But like I said, we were in and out in like an hour. But like it felt, honestly, I felt like I was James Bond. Like it felt super cool. It was a very cool experience to go and get size. And then you get to go pick the fabrics that you get. You get to pick what goes on the inside. Obviously, I went very peacock, very.
What'd you get on the inside?
I got a poppy purple with blue polka dots.
That's what I'm talking about. That's
and
what I'm
then
talking about.
I even got it monogrammed on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I said?
Certified pimp, Peter
Nope.
Chiarelli forever.
Hope will never die.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So that'll be in the video that Jared releases. But as a testimonial, I'm telling you, the suit was the price of the suit was $500, which in the suit game, like I don't know, I would suits are like $1,500. So like the value is insane. You go and have like a high level VIP experience. At least I felt like it was. These guys know what they're doing. I really feel like the suit I'm gonna get is actually gonna fit me like a glove because we took so many goddamn measurements. and then all the customizations you can do with it. It's really, they've gamified getting a suit.
I think my favorite thing that Chris was telling me about before we started recording was how you had like a character limit of some kind of inscription you could put on the inside.
Yeah, the monogram.
That's super dope. What'd you put?
Hope will never die.
Have to.
It's good.
The fuck, where were you 30 seconds ago?
Hope will
I was
just get
drifting off.
it'll just get kicked in the dick a bunch, but it won't die. Eh, JR?
Never, buddy.
It'll never die.
Never.
I'm opening myself
Never.
up. I got the reinforced crotch on this suit, so I can't. So I'm ready for another dick kicking. I can absorb another. Hopefully not needed, but I'm prepared.
Where does a blogger that works for Oilersnation exactly wear a suit most of the time?
Wow.
Every day at the office.
You better
Every
watch your
day.
fucking
Every day.
I've gone up there and it's pajama pants and shorts.
Just wait and see. My next, my suit's
The
3
croc
weeks away.
game is
It's gonna
hot
get
up there.
shipped right to my house, and then I'm gonna put it on. It's gonna fit like a glove, and then I'm gonna go do a Don't Air review in it.
So what you do, you head to Indochino.com, you choose your style, you customize your suit as Jay did, you get measured up, and they are going to ship that baby to you. Free shipping in North America on orders over $150. Head on over to Indochino.com, click on the How It Works tab, get everything you need to beautify your wardrobe.
Yeah, do it. If you need a suit, do it.
I've heard
It
the
was
fabric
so
is really
cool.
easy to clean too, and that's good because if you go do a Don't Air review in it, you will probably spill on yourself. 'cause
I
I've
like
seen
the
you
challenge of
eat.
not having to spill to avoid spilling on myself. That's
You usually
why
have
I
to do
wanna
the legs wide open with the Don't Air way out and the,
Just
the head way out. Oh yeah.
it's bad for the back, but it's good.
What do you think?
Well, you know what? I really don't
You want to
care
go
for
me
all
and
the
you
suit
for an
talk.
Indochino suit?
No. If I'm the kind of guy, if I wear a suit, someone looks at me and
You would
goes,
say no.
"What happened? Did somebody die close to you?" Like, I'm not of the fancy variety of persons who can just wear a suit around all willy-nilly.
Oh, me neither. But
Well,
don't
I'm
worry.
wedding ready, so anyone who's getting married out in the nation, invite me. I can come now. I can suit up. I can finally look the part.
If
I'm
anyone
coming.
asks you to their wedding, that would be heartwarming.
I
Please.
hope somebody invites you to the wedding.
That's open. I will. If you would like me to come to your wedding this summer, invite me.
Open bar, open invite.
Toonie bar, I don't care.
What, you go as high as Toonie?
Would you
I'll
go?
go Toonie.
Are you going to go if it's full price drinks? Full bar?
Oh fuck! I had a cousin who got married at a hotel, and we walk into the bar thinking it was a toonie bar, and I order a rum, and they're like $8, please. I was like, okay. Liquor store across the street, up in
Yeah.
the hotel room. Yeah,
I'm sorry, but it's a principle thing. Like I don't mind paying $8 a drink when I'm at a party. Like if I'm at a good, party that has $8 drinks. But if it's a wedding,
You can't do
Can't.
free though, because what happens is people
Get
your
them and
Aunt
then leave them
Beru
around?
from Toefield is like, money ain't a thing, and they'll have like one sip of a drink and leave it. At minimum, you got to ask for a tune dog so people remember where they put them.
$2 fine. That's
And
casual.
even
But don't
still,
share
I
it.
leave
Toonie's
the
fine.
drinks
Toonie's
around.
fine.
Yeah.
And you get the bottle of wine. You cruise the tables later. You grab the fresh ones. Free wine. Come on.
oh yeah.
You'll be ready. Wine stealing ready in that fresh suit of yours.
Mm-hmm.
And then you yell out the odds. You think they'll last about midnight. I give this wedding 50% chance it'll last 5 years. And then you face down in the cake and they call it a wedding. That's what happens when there's no Toonie Bar Chalmers.
I can't wait till
Lippy
you guys
people
do
get
that at your
too drunk.
weddings.
To each other?
I don't know. I don't care who you marry at this point. Just need a stag.
Oh, there
Need
you
a
go.
stag and a wedding. I need 2 of them.
I'm going to a wedding next week. Now it's on a
Actually-
beach, so I don't need the suit, so that's good.
Who's getting married in a beach?
Cheese,
What beach?
Cancun.
Respect.
Oh, I think you do the top half and then the like flowery shorts on the bottom.
I'm going. Oh yeah, I don't. I'm born for this. Like I this is where I'm a Viking. Is I've got Tommy Bahama beach baggy wear up the wazoo. I'm ready for this.
So do you go like plaid pants, plaid capris with a white shirt?
Oh, I'm going shorts. I'm going to go pink pastel shorts.
Okay, good. Because you can't do like the white shirt and the beige and the khaki pants or anything because like it's a risk that the groomsmen will all be wearing that kind of a thing because that's kind of a go-to.
I'll tell you about, and this might lead to our embarrassing story about wearing beige pants in a hot climate. When we were in Dubai, I was wearing rather tight khakis, and it's about 48 degrees. And out and decided to go to this souk, which is an outdoor market, and proceeded to start with a light beige pair of beige pants and ended the shopping trip in fully dark brown pair of pants because I sweated and soaked it, like literally not one dry piece of pant.
But people from a
all
hot
soaked.
climate never judge people for being sweaty in heat. You know,
Oh, it's
that's-
acceptable.
It's acceptable.
Yeah.
It's people from cold climates that get vulnerable about being sweaty.
I know. Yeah, no one was
I
making
can't-
fun of me.
I will never wear a gray
You
t-shirt.
wouldn't have known if they were.
Fair enough.
Would you have
Well,
understood?
that's true, but there could have been some pointing.
Oh, that would have been rude.
Yeah, sorry I got distracted. Frank just killed a bird.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
How do you know?
My sister texted me.
Oh,
She was holding a bunch of feathers that were in
Did you
Frank's
boggle
mouth.
your interview like
did he eat it?
Nicholson?
I don't know. He might have just fucked it up. Buried it somewhere.
How did he catch it? He doesn't.
Frank's
he
got
doesn't,
his first
he
kill.
doesn't look super spry. No, is he?
Oh, he's spry as
Yeah,
fuck.
he's quick.
Oh,
Yeah, and he can jump probably 6 feet in the air.
holy
Those Boston
shit!
Terriers are agile, fierce little buggers.
I wouldn't know.
Let's talk about our listener question because this was exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so segue from the pants and the embarrassing story into this.
So
Into embarrassing stories.
So when Beg Milk was asking me earlier if I liked the interaction on Twitter, the very first one, I think, after I had asked for some interaction, the very first one was some really funny photoshops from at McTuft. At McTuft1. Let me find it.
Do not
Remember, I'm still
do
super
not
bad at this.
mistake at McTuft with at McTuft1. They are two entirely different people.
Okay, so
We only like number one.
at McTuft1 photoshopped some fantastic pictures. One of me on a blonde lady's body, saying that this is what I look like as Ultimate Chalmers, which is
yeah, Ultimate
and then-
Chalmers. I love that name.
Well, Ultimate Charmers, because somebody was asking me why I have two accounts, and I was like, I don't know.
One's a
because
burner, of course.
I don't know how to like merge them. And he goes, "Oh, when you finally do," he said, "half of you is good enough for now, but when you merge them, you will be Ultimate Chalmers." And then he told me how to do it. So when I did it, it was kind of a paying an homage to him for helping me. Call myself Ultimate Chalmers. Plus, it's a sick name, so whatever. But yeah, McTuft gave me about 4 or 5 photoshops that were just fantastic. But then she decided to ask us some questions, didn't she?
Well, as I said, you should ask us some questions.
Oh, you want me to actually read them? See, this is where I should not be the one that has to go find
Okay,
this
you're
now.
learning on the fly, man.
Okay, so, but there's a lot of scrolling.
Like a brain surgeon in their first brain surgery.
What question she had asked?
Yeah, like
One question. 2 questions.
Well, it's 2 questions. I only posted it in our group chat, so it's pretty easy to grab.
Or yeah, sometimes you got to go off
guys,
Twitter to look
I'm
for
not
comments.
good at this.
It's okay.
Just
You're
so you
learning.
know.
The
So-
first question that McTuft1 wanted to hit us with
Mm-hmm.
was, for some strange reason, she wants us all to share our most embarrassing story.
Yes. And if
No
Chalmers
problem.
doesn't have one, I think it's his knowledge of Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, that's I have a bunch of little tiny embarrassing moments. Like pretty much, if I go to a party and I wake up on a Sunday morning, like I had an embarrassing moment.
I've been to
And
some of
I-
those parties.
and I wake up in the morning and I go, "Oh God, what did I say to that person?"
But
'Cause
you're
I-
great because your self-confidence gets you through life because it's so high that anybody who has problems with you is their problem. And I respect
I
that.
like that.
Bang
Yeah,
Milk,
yeah.
embarrassing story, normal person.
I got a couple, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it on the fly. The first one, at my old job, I shit my pants at work. That was embarrassing.
Yeah, that's
All
all
right.
right.
Yeah.
We're going there.
Due to what situation? Chili eating contest?
Honestly, I just thought I was sneaking a fart out. It was not a fart. It was a full load.
Oh, dear.
And all of a sudden you got to get up and you do the squelch. And then I'm like, I get to the bathroom.
The squelch.
Yeah, you like squeeze your ass cheeks together.
That's
to
what that's called.
I don't know. I just that's
It's
what
a
I
medical
know.
term.
I
It's
mean,
a
I-
medical term.
Like it's a
Hold
word.
on.
I think it accurately describes
If
it.
you're not talking about pooping your pants, I don't want to hear a word. Mike, Mike. If you're not talking about pooping your pants, I don't want to hear it. Bag Milk?
So I get up from my desk and I'm kind of waddling over to the bathroom, and then I look at the clock that's in there, and I still got 6 hours in my shift. This was early in the morning. This was like coffee, tried to fart, you've shit yourself.
Wow.
And now you've got 6 hours to go until you're allowed to go home and take care of this properly. So I had the idea of that I'm just in the bathroom and what am I going to do? So I like wet a bunch of paper towel in the sink. I went into one of the stalls, tried to take care of as much as I could. I wrapped the dirty underwear in a lot of paper towel, chucked those out.
Oh, got to get rid of those. Yeah.
You got to get rid of those.
Yeah.
And they were another embarrassing part of the story is they were bright green glow in the dark alien boxers.
Sure.
So if anybody happened to just kind of peek into the garbage can,
Oh, it was an unlidded garbage.
You
No
would
lid on it.
see, it was unlidded. It was just like a
Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
big
Oh
public
yeah. You got
bathroom
to
style.
bury
They
that.
only change the
No.
bag once a year.
So like if anybody looked in there, you would just see a glowing beacon of shitty
But
hope.
they wouldn't know they were yours. How would they know they were yours?
I don't know.
They
I was
also were
just-
custom.
You're pretty paranoid at this
Yeah,
point.
they were just yeah.
I mean, you've been in the bathroom for about half an hour at this point.
Yeah, because you're just trying to clean it up. And then when I got back to my desk, my manager at the time, she was just like, "You were gone for a while. Are you okay?" And I was just like, "I'm not going to tell you what happened. I'm not okay."
So you're
When I
commando
sat
then.
down. Yeah, so I was commando in jeans, which I don't like because of the friction. I'm not a fan. I was
No.
really upset about it. The other one that comes to mind is when I was this was probably high school, and I got way too drunk. I was drinking R&R I can't drink R&R.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
bad news. I just want the sticker, man. You got to put that shits on your wallet when you're
Somewhere.
in high school. And then I passed out on a toilet, and I had to have my best buddy had to like sort me out after taking shit at a party, at a house party. So I passed out.
Common theme.
What
here.
a hero.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I got a problem.
McTuft.
I got a problem. Hey, McTuff,
Can't
he wants to
imagine
know.
he did like a
Tough
bang
one.
up. Can't believe like he
Tough
did like the
one.
best job possible, but it was passable job, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, and you know what? What I learned that day?
He's a good
That's
friend.
a great friend.
Then would he take you
Yeah.
around the party weekend at Bernie's-ing you?
Kind of, a little bit. So he got
He's
me
fine.
sorted out, and he got me redressed. Thank Christ there was no such thing as camera phones back when I was in high school. That would be bad news. And then he got me, he just put me down, and I woke up in the morning, and I'm like, oh my God, where am I? And he's just like, you have no idea where you are? I'm like, no. He's like, I got a story to tell you, but we need to
He's
go.
like, you owe me one. I cleaned your butt. And for all you know, he was lying. He may have just made up a
Probably
like-
not good.
Did you ever pay him back?
Probably just a cursory job.
Did you ever just wipe his butt for no reason?
Not to that extreme, but yeah, I've been repaying that debt for probably 20 years now.
Oh, very
Just
nice.
wipe his butt for no reason.
You're like, hey, is it? Is it?
Hey man, you
you're
all
like-
right? Just
you're
go in
like-
the bathroom. You
you're
need
like-
any help? Remember that time you helped me
Yeah.
at that party?
Exactly. Is it time?
Yeah. Time for a little
Want-
credit
want a
check
hand?
in your old back half.
And he does like my son,
Declined.
my son does, where he just lays the head right down in between the legs, like bends right over, and yeah.
The third time I can think of is I
kids are
passed out nude in Asia on my bed. A bunch of my buddies came
Three
in.
of them.
They took a bunch of pictures, and they've got those kind of like in an album somewhere. So they were like posing me as I was passed out and naked. So I'm like, draw me like one of your French girls poses from, there's a whole thing.
Eyes shut tenderly,
Yeah.
sleeping, dreaming.
Dead to the world. Those Thai buckets will get you, Chalmers.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, they're
Yeah, they are.
deadly.
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 Jay, embarrassing moments? Anything
Yeah,
spring to
mine.
mind?
So on the topic of going to Cancun next week, mine is Cancun related. So you can do this like catamaran cruise and go to, I believe it's called Isla Mujeres or whatever.
Island of Women.
Isla
Island of
Mujeres.
Isla Mujeres, yeah. So the pre-story to this is we went to this resort that's very engaging for, we'll say, singles, and there's a lot of fun games you play. And then there's this host named Chino's. And Chino's like, because he runs the show, he's everyone's hero. And he had these shorts that were branded from the resort, and they were towel shorts, but it was like a skirt.
I remember these.
Yeah, they're
so
like booty shorts.
they're like booty shorts, but it's like a skirt because there's no leg holes.
right.
So, we're on a, big guys trip. We're having some fun. So we go on this cruise, and I before the cruise, I buy these shorts because I, want to be that guy.
You're Chino too.
I'm Chino too. I'm gonna be the Chino of the boat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just, program everything. We're gonna have a blast. So whatever.
Rum punch.
Oh, just rum punch.
They were good.
Rum
They
punch
were
o'clock
good.
for like 4 hours. Go over to the island. Island's great. Get back on the boat. Make our way back, and they stop kind of halfway between the island and Cancun. And the reason why they do that is they have this parasail swing. So they let people go on it. So it's like a parasail. So it's this big sail, and it takes you up in the air, and you get like 40, 50 feet up off the water, and the crazies will jump off or whatever. And, everyone takes their turn. So I go on it. So I decide to stand on it. And
Nobody had done it, and of course you had to take it to the next level.
I had to take the next one. No,
Yeah.
everyone's been sitting. I come
Yeah.
in standing, so I'm going to try to, iron, gymnastic like ring
like
style,
they were doing in Coco Bongo
Iron
in the
Cross.
in the
yeah, do
ceiling.
like the. I'm
Yeah.
trying to pull some maneuvers here to really be a good Chino here. So we
Plus-
get swinging up. I'm standing on it. I'm doing like just leg movements. Well, these towel shorts I got, like I said, they're like a skirt, and you could see up it, but I was far enough away, so that's not what it is if you're thinking. But they're done up by Velcro, and I guess I did an aggressive leg maneuver of some variety, and the Velcro gave way. So I'm standing on a swing, 50 feet up off the water, buck naked in front of like 60 people.
Yeah, and we're 12 of
this
them.
was not in the time of camera phones, but everyone had their phone and their phones, or not, everyone had their cameras and they could take video. So the boys, being the boys, quickly got a video of this. So I've already embarrassed myself among 60 people on the boat. Well, what we do after the trip is we we put together all of the photos and then
Basically, original Instagram, if you think about
so we
it.
photoed together
Made a
all of the
photo
viewing
photos
party.
and have a DVD release party
Yeah,
of the
those
trip
were
where everyone
wicked.
dresses up like they're in Mexico.
good.
That was
We have a
awesome.
house party.
Yeah.
We watch a
Forgot about this.
2-hour like video of our trip. This obviously is the conclusion to it. So yeah, that one.
I don't think
done.
you expected some girlfriends to be at that viewing party that either. But when there was that video and you put your Lego like a gymnast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was disgusting.
Yeah, it was. So
It's
I
not
and
embarrassing though, because having
No,
known you
and that's-
for
but I'm
Okay,
embarrassed
so-
because when I watch
you're
it, I'm
not,
like,
though.
what the
So
hell?
I
is
was
I
gonna say
doing?
that.
because you always get naked, and not to
Ever
TMI,
since
but
that
if you're
day-
packing heat as you are, every time a girl accidentally sees your dick, it's like she sees your business card that says "ready to do it."
Ever since that
I hope
day,
McTuff
I've
is
noticed.
over 18
I've
years
noticed
old.
you
This could be
straight
a
up.
felony.
Yeah, I've noticed you do that a lot more. You kick your shirts off at a lot more vacations that we've been on.
In the
You
past,
like being nude.
You do.
There was a
Kind of your
phase.
thing now.
Phase
But that
like
was
what
an
your
accident.
adult life? Oh, that would have
Well,
been
now
an
I'm
accident.
embarrassed because I've opened myself up to this abuse.
Wow.
So that's my second story.
My embarrassing story was that the last week of grade 8, I just told this story the other day and it made me embarrassed telling it, so I'll tell it again. The last week of grade 8, I was going around being like, what can they do to us if we're really bad on the last day of school? Because they're not going to punish us the first day of grade 9. This is my grade 8 brain. So like the last day of grade 8, I like pushed a kid and like punched another kid and left class early and did all this bad shit. Went on a grade 8 reign of terror, as you do. And the vice principal called me in the office and goes, "Well, you're just causing all sorts of trouble." Like I went to the music room and hit the bass drum and ran out.
Oh,
Right?
rebel
You know what I'm
time.
saying? 13.
Yeah, yeah.
And he goes, "I heard that you're saying there's nothing we can do because it's the last day of school." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You're suspended the first day of school." And I went, "Huh. There's just something they can
That
do."
makes sense.
So the whole summer, I'm vulnerable now because I'm scared because I'm like not telling my parents I got suspended and I got to keep this shit on the DL for 3 long months. And I'm like, "Oh, there's no way they're going to suspend me in the first day of school. This is so stressful, blah, 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 blah." In my junior high school, the grade 9s were in the basement. So the whole school, junior high was in the basement, actually. So we're going in, the whole thing, we're filing in. And I'm like, I'm in grade 9. I'm going to lead the school down the stairs where all the teachers are lined up to show them I'm not scared of getting suspended in the first day of school because I've been psyching myself up all summer, like a kamikaze pilot. I slip and fall head first, like Superman, down the stairs and land at the feet of the faculty. And they all start laughing at me. So like every single teacher in the school was laughing at me. And the principal looks and goes, "You're still suspended." I just lay there like that's the most helpless I've ever felt in my entire life, child or adult. It was very embarrassing.
Were you hurt?
Oh, my pride.
Concrete
Still
stairs, I
talking
bet,
about
though.
it 90 years later. That was an embarrassing story, McTuft one.
Sorry, McTuft one. Sorry, I don't have one. That was a
Oh
good
my
one, though.
God, I thought we gave you
I
nothing
know,
but
but okay.
inspiration.
Why don't you guys tell an embarrassing story of me
No.
back in the day?
Chalmers, you never have embarrassing stories because you're that guy. You're strong. If something fucks up and it happens to you and you fuck up, you make it somebody else's fault, and then they have an embarrassing
They
story
have an
of when they
embarrassing
crossed
story.
you and lost.
And I have a short memory too. I gotta admit,
You're gold,
I don't
man.
remember shit.
You're
like
in the
that.
pocket. You don't get vulnerable about day-to-day shit.
How
It's
about
great.
instead, I tell a vulnerability of mine that has come to light recently that I cannot be in like confined spaces to the point where it's like really intense these days. Like if on a 7 seater, I can't get in the very back seat anymore. I just could not. The minute that
A
seat,
van?
no, like in like an SUV. How
Oh, yeah.
you fold up the middle seats and then you get in the very back and then the seats fold down and a bunch of people get in. So now there's like no way out. I cannot do that.
That's pretty embarrassing.
Like the No Doubt album?
It's kind of fucked. Like I can't
No
be in the
way
middle.
out?
I cannot be in the middle. If I'm in the middle or the window seat in an airplane and the person, I don't know the person that's on the aisle and they put down the tray, I immediately get anxiety, like
Wow.
severely. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I pay for seats. I pay to like choose my seat
Just rent out all
because
the seats
it's
around
like
you.
worth every penny to me because like I need to be on the aisle. So, I mean, that's embarrassing. It's
That's
embarrassing to be that
unembarrassing.
weak at one
You've
thing.
never been embarrassed because you're the Teflon Don. It's all
Yeah.
good, man. Own it.
I do really. I have a ability to be able to spin things.
We've been out partying. We've been at houses hundreds and hundreds of times where you're the last, most rash guy to go to bed.
Yep.
You're like throwing things around the kitchen at 4:30 in the morning. and then you're the first guy up.
Oh, yeah.
And you will like walk around the house and mean mug every single person into being like, Chalmers was fine last night. I don't think he had anything wrong with him at all. You're like, all right, I have reestablished dominance. Let's go day 2.
I've really like, and I still am the last person to bed every time, but I've really like put my efforts into like the cleanup now because I've realized that like people like that.
So you're drunk as fuck, last guy to go to bed, but you clean up?
Yeah, so
That's
like
nice.
it's really easy. I put headphones on, I kind of put on some good tunes, and I'm hammered, so I'm dancing the whole time I'm doing this. It's like sliding, smooth, not like dancing,
Electric slide.
Yeah, just sliding around, making every trip, a little
Fun.
little
It'd be
more
fun to
groovy.
actually,
Yeah.
you think you're doing these
No,
things. I'd
I
like to
know.
actually see what you're doing.
I'll film myself next time. It's pretty smooth.
Oh, we still got one more question. You can't be turning on no theme song. Origin story of the nation.
Oh yeah.
McTuft 1 got 2 questions. No, we're not hurrying the origin story of the nation. Do
you
you
have
want
to
to
do
tell it
a
next
quick
time?
building
Hey,
up.
like
John.
Ryan
Next time?
Smith.
You want to
It
tell
started.
next show?
No, let's bang it
No,
out. Let's
bang it
do
out.
it because this is because we want to talk to someone else next week.
True.
I won't interrupt.
The origin story of the nation. As you remember it, Bag Milk, do you want to tell it? And then Jay and I will back up.
I actually came in around 2008.
You're like 5 months in.
Yeah.
Tops.
Yeah. I came in. I remember finding it. I remember the Perez Hilton type photo, MS Paint pictures. I remember thinking this was a different way to cover the sport. I wish, you know what I wish? I wish I could remember what my original username was before Bag Milk. Because Bag Milk wasn't.
That wasn't the original.
No, Bag Milk wasn't a thing when I first found it. So I would actually be curious to hear it. I'd like to hear it. I was a fan for 2 years probably before I did anything with the nation of any kind. So yeah, I'd like to hear it.
I remember getting Venture 2.0 magazine, which was like a really good business magazine that didn't last very long, unfortunately. And it was saying you can buy websites. And I was like, you can? And I had no idea how these things were issued at the time. I assumed the government was involved. And I remember saying to Jay, like, man, look at this article about this guy who makes little websites and makes money off these things. This is crazy. We should do one of these about the Oilers. We should make a website about the Oilers. And being like, that's really interesting. And then Smitty got dealt. And we were pissed. And I remember having a basement meeting in my parents' house with Jay and being like, you know what, man? Now's as good a time as any. If we ever wanted to try making a website and just see how this shit all comes together, we should make one about Smitty getting dealt. And so we did pre-social media.
So at the time, where were you guys at in your life? What were you doing?
Well, so Blue Chicago had shut 13 months earlier when BringRyanHome.com launched. So I was doing a whole lot of nothing. Golfing, watching Oilers hockey, being a shit.
I was at the bank.
Thinking about your
Big.
real estate game.
Didn't have anything at that point. Nothing.
You guys were in the rental.
Not yet.
Not yet?
No, I was still at my parents' house.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm going to reinvent myself. I really want to be technology guy. I was like 26 or whatever. I can do these things, do it at any age. And then going and getting a buddy to slap together Bring Ryan Home. And then I remember starting it and bringing it up and being like, holy shit. The internet is doing what we say. What do you remember, Jay?
Yeah, I remember. Just going to, was it Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah, just having you kind of bark orders at what you want the site to look like, and then all of a sudden it launched, and then we came with the idea of putting the missing Smitty milk carton ad T-shirts and getting those made, and then we got those also made in terms of like little posters. And we got a store in Edmonton to sell the shirts for us. Bang on in Kingsway. I don't know if that's still there or not. And then we went around White Ave one night with glue sticks and just putting these missing Ryan Smith missing posters all over White Ave bars.
Wearing matching shirts.
Wearing the matching shirt. We'd put it on the mirrors. Bounce would be like, hey, we know you did this. I'm like, how the fuck do you know it was me? And, well, look at your shirt, you idiot. I'm like, oh. So we got kicked
trying
out
to
of
play Golden Tee at Buckingham.
Yeah. What was before, whatever it was
Filthies.
then. Yeah, something.
Must have been.
Yeah. So we got kicked out of like 13 bars, and then all of a sudden, like we saw like just thousands and thousands of people signing the petition to the point where we went to a game that night or the next night in the shirts, and behind us there was a couple Tampa was playing. A couple from Tampa was in town to come watch the game, and they're like, hey, I saw that site with that shirt, and I'm like, what the hell?
You
And
did?
we're like,
fuck you.
We're like,
Punch.
what the hell is going on here? It's like the internet real? Because we're seeing like people signing, but we're like, yeah, like, is this a reality? And like in 3 weeks, we had like 30,000 people come and visit the site. And it was kind of like the kick in the ass to actually build this site that we wanted to build. And like, I guess that would have been 7 months later, 8 months later, Oilersnation.com launched in like mid to late November of 2007.
We started working on it like July, Chalmers, and I was like, don't you worry, Jay. I will have this fucking site up and running for the start of the hockey season, staffed with a crack team of writers, each with a sharper pencil than the last. Launched November 23rd.
Not bad.
Of the 21 Oilers blogs that existed at the time, I emailed every single one being like, hey, you work for free writing about stuff. We'll pay you to come write for us, and you can still write on your site. Not a single one even took the time to tell us to fuck off.
Then none of them got back to you.
None. And I remember, Jay, talking to you and being like, I've got bad news regarding the Oilers website, specifically the writers. Not a single person will get back to us. And then you were like, well, now what the fuck are we going to do, mister? We're going to make an Oilers website? And I was like, well, I guess I'll write then. Every day for a year, you better write, came the reply. And I remember that when we were living in Belmead, when that started, I remember like Boxing Day being like, well, what the fuck am I going to write? And you were like, well, you could write about World Juniors. I'm like, oh, World Juniors. Shit, I don't know anything about World Juniors. And like watching in the TV room and then running around the corner down that weird little living room at the back. And then like writing about World Juniors, then running back. Like no mobile phones, no social media. In those days, blogging was how you got the word out. I remember launching it with Rosenhart.
Yeah. Bingo Fuel.
Yeah, Bingo Fuel, who's done very well for himself. And we were working on another startup at the same time because we were doing two startups at once. And we had rented like an automotive garage's office for our startup. And it stank like it was cold and it smelled like oil and shit. And me and him writing with like prison, like line as to how many people had come that day and looking at the sheet being like, holy shit.
Really?
Yeah, man, it was awesome. I remember going to Josh's poker tournament with the cards. Remember we'd printed postcards that said the nation has risen, the most powerful nation on earth has risen. And I remember giving one to Josh, and Josh was like, so this is a real thing, hey? And I felt so good. I'm like, it is a real thing.
And then inevitably we're all like, how are you going to make money at this? And you're like, I don't know yet.
No, because we talked about it. We said.
We had a title sponsor before we even launched.
Hudson's was a title sponsor before we launched. And I remember going and having meetings. I think I could probably still find our original sales package. And like the CPM rate we wanted to charge was like $150.
Yeah,
like, no problem. Like if we known
What's CPM?
Cost per 1,000 impressions.
What does that mean?
If you give me, if you have a $5 CPM and you give me $5, I'll show you your ad 1,000 times on the website.
Whoa.
But at those days I didn't know.
Good value, eh?
Good value. Well, 175 was our original CPM.
Yeah.
And I remember,
not so great.
But
anymore.
I also remember thinking, if we can get 30,000 people a month to come to this site, we're set.
Yep.
And then I also remember buying all the other nation domains, and that's when we were living in the condo, and you were asleep. It was like 4 a.m, and I came booting through your door. I was like, I just had a great idea. I'll get all the other team domains, and one day there'll be a bunch of these things. And you were like, get out of my room. And I shut the door and went back to
Where were you buying the domains from at that point?
GoDaddy.
Oh, so it was
They were all
GoDaddy?
available. Yeah. And that
So
original
did you buy all the teams at that moment?
17 of
As
them.
many as we could. Yeah.
When was that? How long ago?
2007.
Oh.
Because in this article, it said, this original article in Venture 2.0 or Business 2.0, it said like, you can buy domain names and start your own websites. And this guy did it. And I was like, what the fuck is next? Hamburgers that eat people?
No.
So there you are. That's the original origin story of the nation. McStuffed one.
Yeah. And one other thing though, to bring up and it was also a fun thing, especially in the first year, creating the illusion of traffic and having you, myself, and Bingo Fuel rush home every night for game nights and live blog or comment off the game day article under like 9 different aliases each to create the illusion of a community. So when someone real came, they thought they were coming to a busy site.
So here's where I want to
real
jump in.
person I can recall ever writing on that site was Bagwood.
That's what I was going to say. Here's where I want to jump in, because I remember finding it, and I remember the game day articles, and I was being like, holy shit, there's 200 comments in here.
Or what's there?
Probably about a year ago, I went back in our system and to try to find my first ever comment on the nation. I couldn't find it. But what I did find was what I now know are a bunch of your alter egos.
1101,
Yeah.
Tracy, Tony Romo. Like, no one will think that's me because I don't like football.
There was so many.
You were talking to just these two?
I was
a bunch
talking
of
to
different
just
versions
these
of
two.
them?
And I would tell my buddies about it. I'd be like, man, there's this Oilers site and there's people going in. And then it turned into a crew of probably like 6-8 people that were always there. Turned into, they called it the Justice League, that we made Photoshops in like 2008, 2009 before that was like a big thing. So I remember
being like,
talking
come
to
get
people.
involved, help us do stuff. And you were like, do what? I'm like, I don't know. We don't know what we're doing either. Just fucking yell.
Yeah, so I started.
Cowboy was a Justice League member.
Yeah, Travis Dakin.
Travis Dakin was a MVP. Parker Knox.
Yeah. So there was a bunch of those guys that are still around now.
All of them are still around.
And I remember being so excited when I got to do a weekly column. I did this thing called the Righteous Sack Beating, which was
Yes.
just like a rant about what
forgot
pissed
about
me
those.
off.
Oh,
And it was just like an incoherent 3-paragraph rant about what I didn't like. And then I was so pumped to like see that up on the site in 2008, 2009.
Rosenhart at Bagmel or Bingo Field was really good because he'd worked for the Gateway, the U of A newspaper. And the Gateway in those days, I don't read it anymore, I don't even know, but like it was really sassy, right? And like, remember Covered in Oil? Do you remember that
Yep.
blog back
Yep.
in the day, Covered in Oil? They were like Gateway guys that had gone on and made their own blog, and it was super sassy. And they had cartoons and shit. I was like, damn, this is righteous.
I just liked that it was different because I had no interest in newspaper, the way the newspapers covered it. But if you have a picture of Craig McTavish and he's got weird writing coming out of his mouth, that was clearly made in MS Paint, and it made me laugh.
So back those MS Paint stories, people still remember. It's hilarious. People still be like, how come you don't do any more MS Paint? I worked at ATCO.
yeah.
I probably shouldn't tell this story, but that's all right. Keep this one in. And I was like, didn't have any internet access. And so I would go to work and I would write my articles in Word and be done, waiting to go home and then publish them. And I'd be bored as fuck. And I was like, well, now what am I going to do? So I would take like an inordinate amount of time and draw MS Paint pictures because I
Hilarious.
couldn't get online and I didn't have a smartphone. So I was like, how can I work on this website secretly whilst on the corporate dollar? And I remember one day making a photo of me and Mac T, and I was a transformer and Mac T had wings. And we were walking up the yellow brick road to the new arena and we were holding hands. And there was, it took me like 2 days to get that thing done. And then I would run home and post it and be like, and now it belongs to the ages. And all of our content came out at the end of the workday for the first year because I couldn't post at work.
And I remember just like filling up my day with G-Chat, talking to Wanye.
Yeah.
Just
G-Chat.
countless hours of wasted company time talking about the Oilers and G-Chat. And then it was right before the last lockout where I started running the Twitter account.
I remember you being like, I'm getting in tons of shit at work here. They just denied me a bonus because I'm always on Oilers Nation. And I was like, I guess it's time we have to start paying bag milk then. I remember
I got
coming-
called into an office one day
Yeah.
and there was projection screens in like this conference room office with the big long table and all that. And there was 3 people. It was me, 2 managers, and all Oilers Nation's tweets were up on the wall.
Whoa.
They went through
Nice.
my history and they
Yeah.
could go and retrieve screen grabs of what I was looking at. And there was just like, I was just making horrible jokes about fucking Gilbert Brule did something, so I'm going to go jump off the high level bridge or something like that. And they were like, what are you doing all day? Why are you calling yourself bagged milk on the
Being
internet?
poisonous.
Yeah.
I remember when I ultimately left at ATCO, which was the nicest, the best place ever to go work. And I did my review and they were like, you're great and good for you and everything. And our only complaint is that you always go to Oilersnation.com for more work computer. Just stop doing that. And that's it. And I quit like a week later. And I was like, oh, and by the way, I'm quitting to run that website. And my boss was like, what?
Should've
You're
seen
an
that
idiot. Bye. Mic drop out. And we still get natural gas to this day.
It was interesting. It was as somebody who started as a fan of the website and a commenter and then worked into what I'm doing now. It's very interesting to see how the website has changed and evolved from where it was originally.
And the ecosystem, social media. I mean, had we waited 2 years to launch Oilers Nation, we probably would have just made a Twitter account,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
True. Because I remember
Jared's going to kill us.
Well-
but what happened with the building this week? Quick one.
Oh shit. So the building. So I go to a child's birthday party on Saturday morning, right down the street from the building. And the guy having the party at Mandy's with 5 E's on Instagram says, "Did you know that you hit a water main at 5 o'clock on Friday and no one had water all of Friday night?" And I go, "No way. Why are they digging on a water main at 5 o'clock at night?" So I leave the child's birthday party and go running down the alley to the new construction site. And it wasn't full of water like I thought it would be. And so first thing this morning, I gets on the horn and starts asking questions. And it turns out they hit an old water main, Chalmers, not a new one.
Yes.
It was just a bunch of water that had been trapped underground for like 50 years.
Lucky.
But they shut the water off to the street as a precaution.
So why didn't anybody in the neighborhood have water?
Because as a precaution, they said the water mains burst and EPCOR turned off the water.
Oh. But then they realized that it wasn't the
And they
rail
turned the
one.
water back on. And that's why they only had no water for like an hour.
That's pretty interesting.
Good thing we didn't hit the water main.
If it
eh?
was, yeah, because then your hole would have flooded and it would have really stopped production. If all that sand and stuff got wet, it would have been bad.
I'm pretty sure I could live without water for an hour.
Buddy, I've had 3 water main breaks at the old house that I lived in last year. We had 3 water main breaks out front in probably a 1-year span. Each of them lasted a different amount of time. One lasted like 3 days, one was like 6 days, and one was a week and a half. I'm telling you, you cannot. It is one of life's, like, you know, we take it for granted. Man, it is 3 days without water is life-changing.
You're 100% right. When I was in Asia, I was there during the peak of a drought. So they would periodically shut off the water to the island.
Yeah.
And it's gnarly. It's crazy.
You had to drink buckets.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
you don't even realize what you do that you don't realize that you like you just go to the bathroom and then you get up and you go to flush it out and you're like, oh my God, oh yeah, I don't have water. Now you have a fresh log in there and you got to figure out where you're going to get water. Well, you're not just going to take a bucket.
There's a lot
So
of
much
poo
crap
conversations.
talk this week.
I mean, it's
Jesus.
relatable to everybody.
Jared, can we call it a lot of crap talk this week?
One last thing, though.
Yeah.
This is what I do want with Twitter. I think I'm going to try to hone what Twitter can do for us and for me. But people have said a lot that they like when I talk about building,
Yes.
that they find
And
it
your
enjoyable.
family.
And my family, yes. So I want to start talking to people and answering basically their questions about things that they have around their house that they're curious about or that's wrong with them. Any questions they might have. Just
Construction or there
What if
people
they've got
inside?
a log that they don't know
Construction.
what to do
I have
with?
a fresh log in my
Just
toilet.
anything construction. Yes. Dump water in the top of the tank or in the bowl and it will work.
Chalmers.
Oh, wow, this is
so
gonna
hit
work.
Chalmers up. Hit us up on social
Yeah. What is my handle again?
The
Oh my
Ultimate
God.
Chalmers.
at Ultimate Chalmers.
No. That's just my
That's
name.
Smigorowski.
Yes.
But if someone searches Ultimate Chalmers,
Or
they'll
just
go
leave
find
it in
you.
our Instagram comments on the At Nation.
That's true.
All right. Well, Jared, we're going to do your dream of your life. And this podcast. See you next week.
Excuse me there. I just lost my train of thought.